Hi everyone, I'm Let 'em Taters. You can call me Taters. In today's Power Index video, as voted on by you guys, we're putting a microscope on Captain Marvel movie, Carol Danvers' MCU-inspired, Space Stone-powered superheroine. In addition to this version of Carol, we'll evaluate her two prior iterations, Miss Marvel and Captain Marvel Classic, Carol's biggest fan, Kamala Khan, plus Gamora, and Gamora's gentle of heart, Guardians teammate, Groot. Lots to get to, so let's get to it. Captain Marvel movie is a cosmic champion of the offensive raw damage subclass. The first stat is practical DPS. For my definitions of each stat, please reference the description box. Practical DPS starts at 5 points, and points are awarded or deducted. We'll start with the base attack values to establish context. Carol's attack, crit, and crit damage ratings all fall between the 40th and 50th percentile. All landed attacks and basic attacks into block have a 15% chance to armor break the opponent. 15% is roughly 1 in 6 attacks. These armor breaks last for 7 seconds, can stack, and their armor reduction is equal to or greater than the armor rating of 134 out of 171 champs, over 78% of the game's characters. Just one of these armor breaks produces the same effect as adding 16% attack rating to her base value, which would shoot her up from rank 101 to rank 8 overall. And maintaining at least one of them is very practical within a standard parry combo playstyle. But let's be real, that's like a cracker tasked with holding our appetite when we've got a steak entree on the way. Get out of here with this weak stuff, we want the meat. And I hear you, dinner's on the way, friends. Carol builds passive energy charges every time she receives energy damage or a blocked hit, and she gains 2 total charges on parries. These can build to 25, upon which she instantly ignites holy effing shit mode. The given term is binary ignition, which is also cool, but lacks the necessary enthusiasm in my opinion. HES mode can also be manually activated with at least 10 energy charges by dashing back and holding block for a shade more than a second. Upon going binary, Carol purifies all active debuffs, her armor break chance improves to 60%, 3 per combo on average, and she gets a scaling fury buff based on how many energy charges she has. For every 5 charges, her fury buff equals 30% of her base attack. And remember, she can't go binary without at least 10 charges. So at the least, her fury will enhance her attack by 60% to 125% of Doom's game high attack if the opponent's armor is intact, 143% of his attack value if the opponent has 1 armor break, or 183% of his attack with 3 opponent armor breaks. Going binary at 25 charges means her fury buff grants a bonus that by itself is 150% stronger than her attack. Adding her fury to her given attack value produces a total attack rating that nearly doubles Dr. Doom's, excluding armor breaks. And we're not even done yet. If the opponent is armor broken, regardless of stat count, she deals an extra 30% of damage dealt as a burst of energy damage. This damage scales with additional armor breaks and crits. Holy effing shit mode. 9 out of 10 in practical DPS. Generally, champs with ridiculous DPS potential are balanced with poor sustainability metrics, but not Captain Marvel. Her health and block proficiency are above average, and her energy resist is justifiably strong. She's, of course, poison immune due to her Kree physiology, and her signature ability makes her fully indestructible when entering binary ignition, for 12 seconds at max sig level. Once indestructible expires, there's a cooldown, but at max sig, it's a reasonable 40 seconds. 7 out of 10 here. Carol has no true power control abilities, but can tank SP3s while indestructible, a caveat I included in my initial definition for this category, whose basis for judgment is capability against all or nothing defenders. 1 point in power control. Armor break is a utility of varying significance depending on its potency and practicality. Players don't need to cater to a specific infight strategy to get them with Carol. They're naturally occurring, and while in HES mode, they're frequent. Also, when binary, the beam hits of her special attacks are unblockable and deal true damage. And finally, Carol gains 2% of her max power for each persistent energy charge when entering a fight, up to 50% at max charges. 3 out of 5. I personally value poison immunity more than bleed immunity, because all poison effects in the battle realm inhibit healing abilities by 30%. As a poison immune champ, Carol starts with 2 points in this category. She gains an extra point for her indestructibility, which protects her from recoil and the double-edged mastery while binary. 3 out of 5 again. Of all the categories, playability is the most subjective and therefore the toughest for me to quantify. I try to grade every champ against the highest attainable score and a champ that befits that high score. A 5 in this category is a character with which a player can block and attack with minimal consideration to combo adjustment or build-up mechanics. I'm giving Carol a 4 out of 5 here because of the player's necessity to build and manage her energy charges, which requires strategic parries, some patience, and integrating heavy attacks to keep binary charges from dropping to 0. Captain Marvel's overall score is 8.2, same as Dr. Doom's. That's tier 7, the overpowered bracket. Miss Marvel and Captain Marvel Classic are basically copies of each other with only 2 variances, both benefiting Miss Marvel. Her base attack is literally 1% higher, and the max attack boost from her SIG ability is 25% larger than Captain Marvel Classic's. These 2 characters are forgotten relics of MCOC's early age, both released within 6 months of the game's launch, but their practical DPS is surprisingly strong. Attack and crit rate are 60th percentile or better, and at max SIG and holding 3 bars of power, these Carols best the game's top base attack value by over 60%, Miss Marvel by nearly 90%. Sustainability grades are lower than average, but poison immunity keeps them at a 5. Miss Marvel scores a 5.55, Classic gets a 5.16, tiers 4 and 3 respectively. Kamala Khan is a character I wanted to discover is more powerful than her reputation, mainly because Swede is a hero to the community, link to his channel in the description by the way, and I think she is, but assuming her reputation is that she's a bottom tier champ, which she's not. She's not great, but she's not bad. Health, armor, and block are very low, though like the Carols, sustainability is evened out by poison immunity. She can remove armor ups, nice utility, and is pretty easy to operate. Her kit is built upon building Furies, which she gains from heavy attacks and all specials, and whose potency varies depending on the attack used to acquire them. They also grant her a minor hike in block proficiency, but I'm only mentioning that so I don't get charged in the comment section with neglecting it altogether. Recycling SP1s and heavies, with bonus Furies accumulating during heavy charge, a player can realistically get between 8 and 12 Fury stacks. At 8 stacks using this cycle, her attack would double the highest in the game. 7 in DPS, 5.39 overall, tier 4. Gamora was refitted by Kabam in March of 2019, more than 16 months ago, and she's pretty awesome. The rework retained her ease of use, gave her solid utilities, and rebuilt her attack kit around Furies and Cruelties and how long she's been in the fight. A clever wink to her comic fame as one of the deadliest assassins in the universe. She has a 30% chance on light attacks to gain a stackable Fury for 9 seconds, and the same chance on mediums to gain Cruelty lasting the same length of time. For every 5 seconds of fight time, these buffs' duration is extended by 5%. Her SB1 is guaranteed to crit, and at max SIG this special is given a 600% crit damage boost before entering cooldown. It also deals direct bleed damage equal to her base attack. Her SB2, also a guaranteed crit, has an 80% natural chance to armor break. But at max SIG, its chance is 150%, its duration is an obscene 28 seconds, and its potency is equal to a third of her attack and stronger than every defender armor in the game except for Dr. Doom's. And her SB3 awards an 11-second True Strike and additional shock damage if her Godslayer SIG isn't on cooldown. The shock is 20% greater than her base attack and 140% greater against robots. 5.86 is Gamora's final, tier 5. Last is Groot. What a big, goofy lug. His attack sucks and can only be ramped up through defender behaviors, them throwing a special attack, or taking critical hits, neither being mechanics any player wants for an attacking champ. His DPS score matches his total vocabulary, and his sustainability and suicide's compatibility scores are above the starting point due to bleed immunity. Groot is a laughing stock for a reason. He logs an unenviable 3.98, which plants him at the trunk of the tier graph, level 1. Here's an updated tier chart. If you missed the previous video, champs are ordered within their tiers first by overall score, then if champs share a score, their boxes are joined and they're ordered alphabetically. And here we are, saying goodbye again. For whatever reason, this video was especially fun for me to put together, Probably something to do with realizing so many female Cosmic Champs in this game hit really hard. If you enjoyed watching it, please like the video for me, subscribe, and share this series with your friends in Alliance and in line chats and Discord servers. Last week, I asked you guys to nominate champs from the skill and mutant classes. You came through with 237 total votes among those classes, 127 for mutants, 110 for skill, and Rogue finished second in voting with 38. Next week's spotlight will be shown upon the director himself, Nicholas Joseph Fury, who received 56 votes. So keep an eye out for the premiere next Tuesday at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard. Point game tier 7 for me in this video. Crushed it.